Hi guys, my name's Seb Tudor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain, and welcome back. Now, this is my first kind of face cam video that I've been recording since the end of Christmas. And so, firstly, there are a couple of things I want to say just before we jump into what I actually want to talk about. Firstly, we're now over 100 subscribers. We're nearly at 110. Thank you very much to all of the new people that have turned up. It's really nice to have you around. I hope that we get to chat in the comments, or that you find these videos useful and interesting. And be they the gaming ones that I do, be they the kind of commentary ones that I do, or be they the coaching kind of tips and life lessons and other bits and pieces that I do. I hope that you get some value out of all of them to one extent or another if they apply to you or if you enjoy them. So that's the first thing. And secondly, wow, what a beginning to the year. Trump going nuts about his nuclear buttons, and then, of course, the first big piece of YouTube controversy and drama had to be some idiot kid doing something and YouTube not giving a damn because of the amount of money that kid earns them. And so I wanted to talk about this. I'm sure you guys can guess what it is. It's the whole Logan Paul suicide forest video thing. And for those of you who don't know, big asshole YouTuber Logan Paul, one of the Paul brothers, although apparently they've both been in trouble recently, but it doesn't surprise me, and I'm really surprised that their audiences are as big as they are, and that they've not been stamped on already. But in regards to this particular situation, Logan Paul and his collective, his little crew, went out to the suicide forest in Japan, wandered off into the forest off the trail, and found a corpse. They videoed it close up. They kind of essentially joked about it and whatever else, even though they tried to dress it up as oh, this is a serious video, weird stuff happened, here's the suicide prevention hotline at the end of the video, and all the rest of it, and yet it's all seemed very staged. They seem to have potentially gone out and found this beforehand and then come to video it. It all seemed so suspect to me, and then the apology was so weak, because it included all kinds of it included like emojis and hashtags and shit like that as well, which just I didn't feel were respectful or acknowledging of the fault that he was at in regards to this video. But there are two things that stand out to me from this entire situation that I wanted to touch on, rather than just shitting all over some stupid kid that did a stupid thing, because that's quite frankly all he is. When this whole thing blew up, Hannah was still here, and she took a look at the various news around it, and she was like, I didn't realise how young this guy was. And I went, yeah, he's a stupid kid. They're both stupid kids. They've earned far too much money far too quickly, and they're disconnected from people, and they seem to be completely disconnected from consequence as well. And so I wanted to touch on that. And then I also wanted to touch on, towards the end of the video, the response that YouTube gave and how just subpar it was. So, first off, we've got this young guy who does a stupid thing, whether it was staged or whether it was genuine, irrelevant. Does a stupid thing because he puts the corpse in question in the thumbnail. Corpse is still in the video. If you were any kind of decent, sensible human being, if you had that experience, then you would start off the video, sure, and then you would cut the video when you found that. You would have you sat talking about what you experienced and how it affected you, and then you could cut back to the rest of the video. Unfortunately, these people don't seem to have any ounce of, even the slightest ounce of common sense, if not the even less common decency, and so they didn't do that, and it then kind of cascaded. So the apology, first off, didn't seem particularly sincere. It seemed very cookie cutter. The fact that he pulled the video down seemed to be, at least from my perspective, to be a case of going, okay, well, apparently he didn't demonetize. He didn't monetize the video, rather, which is good, sure, but that's probably because he knew that it would be flagged and demonetized anyway if he had. But then also, it seemed to me like this kid and his brother, both of them, you know, they earned fame very quickly, and I use earned in the way in a very loose way in regards to that. But they got a lot of attention very quickly. They got a lot of money very quickly when they were both very young. They have seemingly never really wanted for anything, and then on top of that, they have faced very few consequences for the fact that they have been particularly badly behaved or done stupid things so far throughout their careers. And so as a result, it doesn't surprise me that they seem untouchable and that they also have a group of handlers around them looking at this situation. So I wouldn't be surprised if the apology and the fact that the video was taken down were both essentially part of either a stunt or part of a stupid decision that was then being managed by PR people. The apology, put out an apology, says the PR person, he goes and does it. The video needs to be taken down because the PR person said so, because the handler said so, and so that's the way that things panned out. I understand that there are other problems that he is facing as a result of this, which may be bigger, that he might not be able to escape from, but the place that he's earning money from, the place that he is at least in part representing as a large, well-watched creator, which is YouTube, they didn't seem to care to take action against him when they are really happy to take action in terms of demonetization or killing entire channels on like independent news networks that are showing videos from countries that are currently in turmoil, or people who are discussing other topics that are far less serious than actually showing a damn corpse. And there are just so many things wrong with the response that YouTube put out, because they put out this thing going, oh well, we do this and we do that and we work with these suicide prevention groups and we try and keep a track of all of that, and that's what we try and do. Yeah, but then what does that has nothing to do with this actual situation where someone has breached your terms of service due to the graphic nature of the thumbnail, the video, the disrespectful nature of it, and so on. And you know, you've got these other issues where you are actively crapping on people who are doing things that are far less serious. You know, some of my videos that are computer games where they're not even violent. I've had Subnautica videos demonetized before for some reason. Maybe I hit a fish too hard in a submarine, who knows. But, you know, I've had them flagged and demonetized. I've had Conan Exiles videos where I've just been building a fucking shack kind of demonetized to one extent or another. And it's a case of going, okay, but none of those things showed violence of a graphic nature or were particularly explicit, suggested any kind of hateful thing. So what the hell? How is this sensible at all? Well, quite frankly, it's not. And the reason why seems to be that he makes them an awful lot of money. So looking at their apology, where they kind of didn't say anything, it was very much a non-apology. You know, there have been petitions going around asking for him to have his channel closed and removed. I don't think that's going to happen, and I don't think it needs to happen anyway, purely because I don't think shutting down his channel makes any sense for this. I feel like there should be consequences for him, absolutely, but I don't feel that shutting down his channel would do anything really. As for the kind of aspect of it where it's more a case of consequences for him doing this, I feel like YouTube needs to work harder on moderating and controlling their larger creators who do make all the money and who do the stupid shit. You know, we have had controversies around PewDiePie where, to be fair, I don't feel that some of the stuff that has happened around PewDiePie was all that bad compared to this. Yeah, saying stupid stuff and doing silly things in a video where he's by himself and not affecting anyone else, not good, can be apologized for, not something that's going to be horribly detrimental to a family of people in mourning, or the reputation of someone else that could potentially still be recognized from a video. Yeah. And so then you come to this other video where it's in a public space, in a controlled area, with an individual who has killed themselves, and who is now being shown to the rest of the world. It's not good enough. There need to be consequences. Whether it's a black mark on his channel, whether it's in some way, whether it's YouTube being like actively taking actions against the videos like this that are actually in breach of their terms and service, as opposed to various videos that I've seen elsewhere, that, and including on my own channel, that have no issues like this and don't breach their terms of service, as nebulous and vague as their terms of service are. You know, I'm still having thoughts about putting together a video for the roadmap to making YouTube work again. Which, if you'd be interested to see, please leave down in the comments that you'd be interested to see that, or leave me a like, just to say that that's a positive thing. But for a dopey kid that's never come across any real hardship in his life to then get away with this stuff, where you've got people who have to survive off, or who've taken paths that lead them to survive off YouTube, and who have enriched the platform in their own way, and who are now struggling because of the adpocalypse and because of how negative these things are, and yet this one stupid kid can continue to have everything, and his audience isn't being made aware of how terrible this is, in spite of the fact that his audience is mostly children, from what I understand, looking at various demographic readouts for his channel. It's concerning to me. I mean, Philip DeFranco raised that there were 600,000 likes on the video. That's 600,000 people watching the video that have left a like. You know, that's disturbing. And most of those people are kids that are just like, oh wow, look at the dead body. Oh wow, that's crazy. But you know, this guy should be slapped around for this, considering what he's doing. You know, the level of irreverence, and the level of kind of thoughtlessness that went into this video, and the way that it has been handled by both the platform it was on and the moron that made the video in the first place. You know, I feel like some steps need to be taken forward on this against him by the platform. I wouldn't be surprised if the family of the person or the authorities in Japan wanted to take action against him for breaching the controlled area, you know, for not staying on the path, for doing X, Y, and Z. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case. But that's not going to necessarily, you know, he'll potentially make a payout, he'll potentially kind of settle on something there, and it'll be gone, and you won't have to care anymore. Again, no lasting consequence, no solid, you know, nothing solid to tack to him. But if his livelihood, at least in part, if his audience, at least for the most part seemingly, are on a platform that so far has been talking again and again and again about how they need to control content, about how they need to do this, that, and the other to make it as friendly to people as possible, to make it as advertiser friendly as possible, and all that kind of thing, then prime example, big YouTuber does something really stupid, needs action taken against him as an example for everybody else. Yeah, this is a guy who has seen YouTube, because of how young he has seen YouTube as a viable career since he was, if he's 22 now, I think, then since he was about 12. Yeah, 11 or 12, There have been people on YouTube that have been developing, growing, creating businesses, and enhancing their lives as a result of the work that they're doing on this platform. There needs to be some kind of impact on him that is more lasting in terms of consequence. The other thing that stands out to me as just a thing that I would like to raise is, and I don't feel like this is necessarily overstepping, considering these guys are still young, the Paul brothers, and they both do silly shit and they both do terrible things, both in terms of stuff that they just do and get away with on the platform, but also just stuff that impacts other people. Like, I think it was Jake Paul a while ago that was basically terrorizing his neighborhood with the amount of noise he was causing and with the amount of disturbance he was generating outside, either with fans being there or with things that he was doing with his dopey comrades. It's like, where are their parents? How did their parents allow them to get this way? I know full well that if my kid, should I ever have them, got to the age of 22 and they were doing stuff that was quite frankly despicable, then I don't care if they're 22 or older. At the very least, I'm going to go to them and go, what the fuck are you doing, you stupid kid? How have I not managed to teach you how to be a decent human being? It's one of the simplest things ever, because a lot of the time being a decent human being takes a lot less effort and a lot less energy than being an asshole. How have you managed this? And if their parents have no concerns over what they're doing, and it's just like, oh, well, it's just the haters, oh, it's just these people, oh, then good God, why? How? No wonder the youth of today, which are only just becoming adults now, 18 to 24-year-olds maybe, people that I'm not all that much older than, how the hell are we going to hope for a better tomorrow? The better tomorrow that millennials continually fucking talk about, that they want to have an impact on, that their want for it generates the millennial problem in business, where millennials aren't being retained within the workforce due to the fact that they aren't getting what they want out of it, and so in spite of them potentially achieving a lot and doing a lot, they're leaving good jobs and leaving places that they could make a real difference because they aren't perceiving that difference that they could be making or that they are making. These guys are role models for the next generation after that. How can we expect better? How can the millennials at the moment, who are becoming adults, growing further into adulthood and so on and so forth, how on earth can they say that they want better when they're the ones propagating being an asshole? And don't get me wrong, there are older people who are assholes as well. There are an awful lot of them. But we need to be, if we're part of this group that are going, we want better, we can see ways to get better, then how are we not driving these individuals who are inextricably kind of connected to our demographic, to the platforms that we use, to the products that we want, to the brands that we support? How can we hope for that better tomorrow and try and work towards it when the rest of the world, who aren't as aware of these situations as we are when we're in these platform spaces like on YouTube, or who aren't paying attention to the news in the same way? Like, I saw some articles about parents responding to what Logan Paul had done, and they were removing YouTube they were blocking YouTube from every device in their house, and they were removing their children's tablets and things. They were preventing kids from doing things unless they showed them that they had unsubscribed from that guy's channel and stuff like that. And it's like, those are all very aggressive and oppressive behaviors, rather than educating their kids on why what was depicted and what this guy did was wrong. And that extremity is only going to breed more extremity. It's going to create a divide. People are going to go in different directions. It's daft. But this guy and his brother, for the stupid shit they do, yeah, they need to see consequence. They need to be held accountable, and not just, oh well, I apologized and then I've been let go. It needs to be something more concrete. You know, I've talked about the systems behind YouTube and the management behind YouTube and how it's all not as good as it should be. And I feel like a breach of terms of service where this was shown, it was demonstrated, to one degree or another, serves more than just oh, we're putting out this statement but he's already taken down the video so we don't care. There should at the very least be some kind of strike against his channel for this. But as said, I feel like there needs to be a situation for where Logan Paul can actually learn from this through the consequences, instead of just getting away without having to give a damn. And I feel like YouTube needs to sort its shit out, because this especially at the beginning of a brand new year, after a year that's been so horrific for this platform, this needs to be dealt with, and it needs to be dealt with quickly, because you've had two different adpocalypses based around two different sets of content that have been allowed to run rife on the platform, and now you've got this one as well. And people have been mentioning, oh, this could be Adpocalypse 3.0. Not sure about that. But good God, YouTube, what's wrong with you? Like, how did this not get tackled immediately? He's one of your biggest creators with more views than so many other kind of users on this platform. How was this missed for at least, 2 days, I think, before it got taken down? Why weren't you the ones to tackle it before he just did it because his PR people told him to? As said, I've got my own ideas on how, on a kind of roadmap that could set YouTube straight and fix it. But we'll if you want to see that, I've still got notes on it here. I can finalize them and make a video on it for next week, if you're interested. So leave a like or something down in the comments, and I'll take a look at that for either next week or the week after, depending on how things go and what you guys want to see. But otherwise, guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this whole situation, because I'm just like, people don't learn without being put into bad situations. People don't learn without being put under pressure. Growth comes from stress and conflict, and if there isn't consequence, there's no conflict, and people get a free ride, and it's causing a breakdown. It's causing a breakdown in older people, in younger people, in politics, in personal lives, in business, and it's melting away at some of the things that we kind of need to survive as a species after we've developed this far. And so it worries me when I see these young guys who have never seemingly really wanted for anything, especially, who are idolized by millions of even younger people. It concerns me when they get away with all this stuff scot-free, or for the most part. But as I said, your thoughts on YouTube's non-statement and their poor handling of all of this, on the Paul brothers themselves. I mean, Logan is the one that's in question at the moment, but as said, I believe that there was an issue with Jake the other day, and with some of the other silly shit that's been going on with him over the latter half of last year. It's troubling on a lot of different levels, because I've worked with a lot of young people, university students, people that never managed to get to university, people who dropped out of college and had to go in and work in retail straight off because it was their only option, stuff like that. And you know, that I can't see any of those people doing anything as bad as what these guys did. And some of, you know, maybe it's a cultural shift between us and them in America. But again, some of the people that I've worked with have been American, and they were the ones that at times were some of the more polite people, just because they were much more open and direct, and so they expected the same from other people, and so they made more of a front of being polite and appreciative. Whilst we over here are maybe more reserved and understated. And so now I'm looking across and seeing, well, you've got a moron and a moron, these two brothers, and they're not being called on their shit by apparently a group of society that are far more direct than we could be, and yet they only seem to be direct in regards to either people at the bottom or people directly sat in front of them, not in regards to anything else. And the corporate kind of structure around things seem to be hampering, I suppose, is the way to put it, in regards to this situation. But anyway, I'm starting to waffle now and just kind of go off on a tangent. But I'd like to hear your thoughts, guys, because again, these large creators are kind of what informs this platform and online media in general. And so, you know, it's a concern that, as said, this is a place where I can come and reach an awful lot more people than I would if I were just doing one client at a time or two clients at a time per session. You know, I can bring you stuff that I've learned from my clients, stuff that I know from my training, stuff that I enjoy in regards to things that I've done, or games that I play, or movies and my thoughts on them, or anything like that that I can analyze and bring to you guys to allow you that greater awareness, that greater appreciation of all manner of different things. You know, and to engage with me to then let me know what you guys want to see. And it's concerning to see a large creator who has a very young audience and who doesn't really develop any kind of content that isn't just pure old bullshit get away with something this, I feel that this is quite egregious, without actual consequence, without impacting consequence. You know, because that, again, I'd much prefer to see him develop and learn from this situation and not be an ass than kind of allowing him to get off scot-free only to do something worse later on when he's chasing more views, when he's chasing more other bullshit. So anyway, as said, love to hear your thoughts, guys, on all of this, be it the corporate side, be it the cultural side, be it these individuals in question anyway. And otherwise, I will see you in the video tomorrow. Take care. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video or found it interesting, then please drop us a like, share this video, and subscribe for more. And I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care.